Boom! What's going on, everyone? It's Steve Larsen. This is Sales Funnel Radio. Today, I'm going to teach you guys about my coaching contract. I've spent the last 4 years learning from the most brilliant marketers today. And now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build my $1 million business. The real question is, how will I do it without VC funding or debt, completely from scratch? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my online business using only today's best internet sales funnels. My name is Steve Larsen, and welcome to Sales Funnel Radio. What's up, guys? I'm super excited about this. I actually been looking forward to this quite a bit. So I am knees deep in the One Funnel Away challenge at ClickFunnels right now. I have the complete honor and privilege of being the guy to literally daily basically go in and hold people's feet to the fire. And what it was like 2 or 3 days before I actually started the challenge, I started thinking about every other scenario where I was coaching people, right? I've coached well over 1,800 people through this process now. Many have become millionaires. Many have made hundreds of thousands of dollars. And a ton of people made money for the first time in their entire life ever as an entrepreneur. And I'm very proud of that when I say that. And what's interesting, what's been really cool about this is that I've been able to go through and figure out more about the patterns of why it worked or why it didn't. And not just from a funnel perspective. And so I've been really... I don't know if introspective is the right word. You guys know I'm kind of introspective as an individual in general, but I've been able to go through and look at that not just from a marketing standpoint, meaning, not just from like a sales message or an offer or this is what this guy did in this funnel and that's why he made the million. I've been able to step back and look more deeply into the individual, right? And look at some of the attitudes some of these people would have about what I was teaching them. And so I thought it'd be kind of neat in this episode to go through and teach you guys some of the rules that I've created as I continue to go do more coaching, okay? And if they don't abide by these rules, I don't want to coach them. Okay, it's so cut and dry. Okay, and so I just want to teach you guys what those are so that you understand the mentality that I'm coming from and why I have patience in some areas and why I have absolutely zero, unapologetic, no patience at all in other areas as well, okay? And so I thought it'd be kind of neat to go through and do this. Now, when I first started as this is like 2 or 3 years ago, right? The original 2 Comma Club coaching program, which is coming up on 2 years. Holy crap. Anyway, that's crazy. Anyway, so I went and I started looking at all the different patterns of how that got started. And I remember when I first started as that coach, right? We were coming up with the 2 Comma Club coaching program. I was like, this is so cool, right? Who's gonna do this? And then I was like, oh my gosh, I am built for this, man. Like, let me do this. This would be so cool. And what was interesting, first of all, I was so excited. I was so stoked. I was so shocked to be the original 2 Comma Club coach and get put in those roles. And it's just a bunch of fun. I really enjoyed it. But what was interesting is like, you guys remember there's an episode ago that I talked about the way a customer comes into your product often determines if they're successful with it afterwards, right? It's not just a pre-frame, right? You can pre-frame somebody for a sales message. That's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about a pre-frame for your actual product success, right? And right, so it was almost the exact same kind of thing. So this has become a pre-frame. I have them written down in front of me here. But these are some of the pre-frames, okay? And when I first, like I was saying just a second ago, when I first was, that 2 Comma Club coach, I went in. I remember I was like so stoked. I was very nervous. I remember the first coaching session came up, right? If you guys watched, it was a 3-day launch that we did, or it's called the 7-day launch, but it was 3 days on stage. I got on stage with Russell during a part of it, and it was really fun to go and drop out, these different questions and back and forth, and then suddenly realize, there's 600 students and I'm the only coach. Whoa, right? So I was like, holy crap, okay. How am I gonna do this, right? All right, here we go, right? And I was starting to get all pumped up and I was trying to get jazzed about it. And what was fascinating about that is I remember that I went in with the belief and the expectation that I would be coaching simply marketing, right? I thought that I was gonna go in and I was gonna teach funnels, sales messages. Here's how you create the offer. Here's great places to get traffic. Here's how you create a publishing or content machine, right? Here's how you become the attractive character, right? Here's how you have a cause, a new opportunity, right? All these pieces. I thought that that's what I would be mostly coaching on. And it wasn't until a while later that I realized that's not actually what happened. A few weeks in, was the first time somebody asked me a question, something like, right, there was these live Q&As that I do for 4 straight hours every Friday. 4 straight hours, live Q&A with the person in front of the rest of the group. And I'd be diving into their stuff with them, right? Diving in. And what was interesting was a few weeks in, I remember I started getting questions about, well, Stephen, I'm a little bit scared to do that. And I was like, all right, that doesn't mean you still shouldn't, and all right, and well, Stephen, I'm a little bit, I don't know what to say, or, I'm not actually that good on a camera yet, or, I'm not actually, and what's funny is a lot of the questions they weren't about marketing, right? I think that's the thing that was most shocked me about what happened when I started doing that stuff. Most of the questions had nothing to do with marketing. They had everything to do with beliefs. They had everything to do with mindset. I hate the word mindset. We'll call it attitude. They had everything to do with attitude. I think mindset is so overused. People just make it fluffy. Anyway, they had everything to do with the way the individual was approaching the task rather than the task itself. I thought that here's marketing rather than here's how you actually attack it. Here's actually do and pull off what it is I'm teaching. And so what's interesting, what's been cool is that I went in, right, thinking and studying and geeking out and obsessing over the marketing because that's what I was going to go teach. But in reality, about half the questions that I still get today have nothing to do with marketing. They had everything to do with the individual's beliefs. And so what I've done is I've made it a goal in my coaching to teach people to do to themselves what I'm trying to teach them to do to their customers, right? Meaning, if I can get an individual to look at their customer base and go, you know what? These are like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 false beliefs that all these customers have about me and my product and what we're doing. If I can get someone to identify that, the rest is cake, right? Because then I can go in now, we can start structuring belief shifts, basically. I'm going to change the way the individual believes. It's really interesting, right? That's some serious freaking power in the marketing game. You got to be careful with it, okay? But if they're doing that to their customer, what if I could teach them to do that to themselves, right? Now, that's hard to do because let me ask you a question real quick. Hey, you are right now listening or watching this. What are your false beliefs? Right? You don't have false beliefs, right? There's no such thing as a false belief. Like, you believe it, right? Hey, what are your false beliefs? I don't have any. They're my beliefs, right? Right? So it's a little bit harder to do. And so what my role has been in the past little bit is I treat, right? I teach them how to find false beliefs. I teach them how to break and rebuild and shift belief patterns for their customers. But what I've been doing lately is I've been identifying belief patterns and false belief patterns and the objections and complaints in the student themselves and trying to help them come to an understanding that, like, look, check it out. You have a false belief in this area about what I'm teaching. You don't know that it's going to work. You don't think it's going to work. You are fighting me on it. You're either complaining or you've thrown up an objection and you don't want to do it anymore. You're throwing in the towel. And if I can get an individual to point out to themselves the false beliefs they have about the game that they're in, guys, their progress goes through the freaking roof. Okay? It's insane. They learn how to self-doctor. They learn how to medicate's not the right word, but they learn how to self-assess. There we go. They learn how to self-assess what's actually the barriers, the obstacles that have been keeping them where they are. This is huge to understand. This is a massive, massive concept, okay? And so some of the things that I do now, like part of the reason I have that mannequin, you guys have seen me bringing that mannequin. If you know what I'm talking about, it's a few episodes ago. But I have a mannequin, right? And it's a punching bag, but in the shape of a guy. And what I do on that mannequin is it started out as me just writing down things that people are afraid of, but it ended up being me writing the things that I'm afraid of, or me writing down the things that freak me out, or me writing down the things that people are telling me about me, right? That aren't real, that aren't true. So I have things on there like shame, guilt, not good enough, right? Fear, imposter, right? Dummy. I've got loser on the front of it, right? I've got all these things that are negative that are constantly pushing in on me, right? And I don't want you to ever look at somebody who's on stage or somebody who's super successful or an entrepreneur and think like, man, they got it all together. No. All right, if they look like that, they've just gone through a long, disgusting road full of mud that has been to this incredible, massive, self-altering, self-discovery, right, that you haven't gone through yet. That's all it is. Yes, they made a lot of cash on the way, but first they had to qualify to even make that cash. Okay? And so that's what I've been learning how to do in the past, especially year. Is go in and help a student identify their own crap. Basically, look, let me help you call yourself out on your own BS here, all right? You got some crappy beliefs. That's a false belief. That's a false belief. That's a false belief. And it's not right. It's not true. It's not real. What story have you been telling yourselves that's been keeping that belief alive? Right? And we go through and they'll write it down and they're like, here's all my fears. Here's how I'm going to overcome it. Right? That's actually the very first day on the One Funnel Away Challenge. They go in and they write down all their fears, right? How they're going to overcome the thing. And, don't make a big old laundry list that'll stress you out. But it's so funny, guys. My business has grown to the extent that I have. And it's been the biggest realization in the past 6 months I've had. Like, holy crap. And so the game's been even more fun for me because I've noticed that as I get more disciplined, not less, as I get more disciplined, as I add positive constraint in my body, in my mind, in my behaviors and my habits, I actually become more wealthy, right? Or I bring in more cash, or I can help more customers, it's the weirdest relationship ever. And so what I want to do real quick is I want to read these rules to you with all of that preface in mind now that you've got that. That's why I take this so seriously, okay? I am not a friend to my students, okay? And I let them know first, okay, that is the rule. I am first your coach. I am first your coach. I'm not your friend. I'm not here to make it fluffy. I'm not here. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, right? If I can see you can handle more, I will push you and I will make it uncomfortable, okay? That's all about what I believe as strategic hardship, okay? And because of what it crafts the person to be, what it crafts the individual to become and do. And so that's why I'm going through this right now, and that's why I've created these rules, is because what I've noticed that when somebody follows these rules, right, I'm allowed to come in with my side of what I will give to them. If they follow the rule, I will reward them with more of me. And so what you're going to see in this, right, and these are some of the rules that I created for the One Funnel Away Challenge as well. But if they do this, then I will do this. Okay, so I'm calling it my coaching contract, and we released it out to everybody, and I just want you guys to know what some of these things are so that you're able to go in and see, like, oh my gosh, like, that's why it worked when I worked with Steven. That's why it didn't work when I worked with Steven, right? Or that's why it's never worked yet in general, regardless of who I've gone to, right? And notice, please know, it comes from a place of love, right? I'm just a product of the product that I'm trying to teach you guys about, okay? I had to get honest with myself. Right? I had to look at myself and go, Steven, you're dumb, right? I had to get honest. I had to be open. I had to be real. I had to be like, right? I was 35% body fat in high school. I was a big kid. Steven, you're fat. And be open about that and be honest. Okay, I accept that. That's okay. My self-worth is not based on that. What am I going to do though? Right? And own where I am and bask in the reality of where I am. That is one of the biggest keys. Okay, so as you go through here and you understand, like, I'm very intense as a coach, and it's because I believe this changes people's lives, all right? And that's part of what motivates me to do it, and that's part of what gives me some of like the, look, I don't care if I offend you kind of attitude a little bit. If it's truth, it's truth, okay? If it offends you, it means it's probably ultra true, right? So anyways, guys, I want to watch, just real quick, I'm just going to watch you guys through this here real fast, okay? Number one, this is not number one, it's just the sub-headline, okay? I am first your coach, like I was just saying. I am not your friend, okay? So I am first. Man, this is such a big one. People get offended by that, but I don't really care. Okay, so rule number one: if you will do the work, then I will show you what work matters. I hate fluffy work. Okay, I hate busy work. I will never give you any. I will show you the path. I will show you exactly what it is that you need to be doing and what you should not do. Right. Number two, if you will show up hungry, then I will match your hunger. Okay? I will not push harder than you do. Okay? If you guys went to Funnel Hacking Live 2017, which I hope you guys are all coming this next year, it's going to be ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sean Stevenson gave a speech in 2017 though, and he talked about the motto of the Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard has this interesting motto, right? Here's the scenario. A helicopter goes up into the ocean. There's a sea full, there's 50 people in the ocean, and the helicopter can only save, like 16. Who do you save? That's a tough question. Okay? It's a tough question. And I'm not trying to be all Debbie Downer on the air when you think about this, but I just want you to know, like, what do you do? Right? So their motto, right, what they do, part of their motto is they say they only save those that are swimming to them. Okay? They only save those that are swimming to them, right? Who are actually making an attempt, right? And you can't save somebody. You can't get out. You are not a savior to your customer, right? You're not, right? You can only help those that are willing to help themselves. The biggest thing that I cannot teach an individual, I have tried to find ways, I can't figure it out. I cannot teach somebody to be hungry. I can't. Okay, if they don't want it, there's nothing I can do. It's not about going 50-50. It's about going 100-100. 50-50 sucks. That's a stupid rule. Okay, I need all of their devotion. Okay, and I will match the level of their devotion. And that's part of the reason why some people will be like, well, I don't know, Stephen, did he fulfill for me? I'm like, well, you never did anything that I told you to do on day one, right? I'm just being open. I'm going to be real and real honest with you. If it offends you, that's okay. Okay, does that make sense? If someone's like, this ClickFunnels game, this funnel game, sales in general, I don't know if this really works. Like, no, you're just not working, okay? Number two, the rule is, if you just are willing to show up hungry, then I will match your hunger. Because I can't teach hunger. I cannot teach somebody to be hungry. The difference in employee, the difference in entrepreneur, the difference in attitude in any area of life, if they show up hungry, more doors open for them. If they don't, doors close, right? And that's exactly how it happens in every opportunity in your life. Opportunities don't stick around. They get passed on to the next person, right? If you're not hungry, they don't stick around with you, okay? That's rule number 2. Show up hungry, then I will match your hunger. Rule number 3, if you will not use your current or past situation as an excuse, this is a heavy one. You guys, like, these are not normal rules, okay? Everyone's got a lesson behind every one of them. So I'll go a little bit faster through them, okay? Okay, you are not allowed to use your current or your past situation as an excuse. And when you do, I will help you call you out on your own BS. Okay, I need you to understand this one. That's a huge one. Okay, too many times I've noticed people are like, well, my situation's a little different. No, it freaking isn't. Okay, it's different to you, but it's not different than the hardships or the level of intensity that somebody else is in who is doing it. Okay, well, my situation's a little bit different now. I don't have the time. Bull crap. Okay, I don't believe that one ever. That one drives me nuts. I don't have the time. Okay, I don't have the money. Yeah, garbage. Okay, stupid. I don't believe you. Okay, prove it. Okay, go in, show me a time study of what you're doing in your life. I don't believe you, and I will not believe you. And I will call, if you ever walk up to a mic and ask a Q&A with like that, well, I just don't have time to pull this off. I will publicly make fun of you. Okay, that one drives me up the wall. You can see. No one's even saying this to me right now, okay? But it's clearly a nerve. That one drives me nuts, okay? I was in college, 14 credits, baby, almost getting straight A's every semester, okay? I was in the Army. Holy crap, that is a huge time commitment. Married, kids, right? Doing my own funnels on the side. That's where I freaking learned funnels. With 2 to 3 hours a day. That's all I could squeeze out, okay? That's it. Those are the most productive, ferocious 3 hours of my day. I made sure to give my best self, right? I'm not talking family time or things like that, but like every other thing that I had to go do, my best self was given to me learning funnels. Okay? I knew it was the way out. Okay? So anyway, you are not allowed to use your current or your past situation as an excuse. Drives me up the wall. Okay? Absolutely not. It is a catalyst, not a hindrance. If you do that, then I will help you call you out on your own BS. What's nice about that is that a second set of eyes, right? Over on the second set of eyes can help you better. That's what my role is, to go in and help you see, like, look, you got this belief pattern right here that I think it's really hindering you, right? And sometimes we're so close to our thing. I'm the same way, right? It's why guys, I have spent $75,000 this year on coaching, okay? And it's for that reason, okay? It's so that somebody else can help call me out on the BS of myself. I can't even see myself because I'm so freaking close to it, okay? That's the benefit of it. So sometimes people are like, wait, if I don't use my current or past situation as an excuse, you will help me call me out on my own BS? How is that? I was like, it's actually a blessing, okay? Anyway, that's number 3. Number 4, if you will not make someone else responsible for your results, okay, then I promise I will not do any of this for you. Okay, now that one might sound a little weird. Let me just explain that one. Okay, if you will not make someone else responsible for your results, okay, which means you own every success and every failure. Every time you did not do what you were supposed to that day, every time where you did not, right? Does that make sense? I need people to understand this one. You are responsible for everything that happens in your life, even if you actually weren't responsible for it, even if it wasn't a responsibility for yours to bear. Okay, I can't remember. There was some situation that happened here at our home. Was it my responsibility in the first place? No, but I took responsibility. I was trying to take responsibility for anything, right? No, yeah, that's totally my bad. Yeah. Oh, we had to cancel pictures because it was raining. That wasn't it. But I'm just thinking, oh man, that sucks. Yeah, I should have looked at the weather, right? Wasn't my fault. Freaking rain came out, right? But it's extreme ownership. There's a good book called Extreme Ownership. Okay, talks about this kind of concept. And if you come in with extreme ownership, I promise to not do it for you. That's a huge one. Most of the time, I see a lot of the coaches just so that they can help get results for the individual. They will actually go and start doing the task for the student. And the problem with that is that when the coach leaves, the student has not learned how to go through that mental jog on their own. So anyways, it's actually a big blessing as well, okay? Number 5, if you will be polite to your naysayers, okay, then I agree to make a safe house for you. Okay, I'm not here to belittle people. I'm not here to just shove down like, you suck. Like that's not I hate that. Okay, that's not my style at all. Okay, I'm real, I'm honest, I'm open, but I'm also a safe haven. And so that's part of what I come to people's relationship with when I start doing coaching for them or any kind of consulting. I should say coaching/consulting contract, not just coaching. Okay, anyway. Okay, naysayers are actually a catalyst for you. They're not a hindrance. When they come in, that's a natural byproduct of anyone who's actually in motion. Okay, naysayers are a natural byproduct of anybody who's in motion. Okay, and so when they come to you, when they come to you and they start saying things like, "Oh, I don't know if you can do that," or isn't that risky, or why don't you just get a job, right? I've heard that one a ton. Why don't you just get a job? Right? You just go to them and you just pat their little heads and you say, "Oh, bless you, you small-minded person," and just walk on. Okay? It is a test. It is a test when somebody can say that to you and you do not go nuts on them. I did that and I made that mistake for a while at the beginning of this game. I was too emotionally, too much of my personal value was hindered on what I thought other people thought of me, and that was not correct. If you will compare you to you, then I will only compare you to you. Okay? This is a fascinating one. Okay? One of the biggest reasons I see that people fail in any kind of game ever that they go play, meaning I'm saying in business, entrepreneurship, or anything, is they start comparing themselves to somebody else. Okay? Now, you can use the results of another individual to motivate you, but do not ever put your self-worth based on the results of somebody else. Okay? When you start to do that, you are actually basing your self-worth on ideals. And the issue with that is that ideals change with every moment. Every blink of the eye, the ideal has changed. Okay? It's like pop culture. You can't define what it is to be cool in pop culture because it changes every single freaking minute. Okay? And then when someone says like, "Oh, I'm not cool," right? The problem with it is that they don't have, there's no way to measure progress because it changes all the time. So there's no way to measure progress. When instead, if the person just measures them against themselves and their history and their past and where they've come from, it's an accelerant. Okay, it's an accelerant, and they go nuts. They sprint forward like crazy. They can look up. And they can see like, "Oh crap, check it out." Like, "Oh, that's so cool. Look how that guy's done that. I want to do that." And then when they put their head down and they only compare them to them and where they were yesterday, that's the only competition you really have. It's you against you yesterday. Okay? It's you today versus you yesterday. That's the only competition that really is there. And when you do that and you base your sense of self-worth on that rather than where somebody else is, oh man, I've noticed that really speeds people along in this process in general. Okay?
Oh yeah. Hey, wish you could geek out with other real funnel builders and even ask questions while I build funnels live? Oh, wish granted. Watch and learn funnel building as I document my process in my funnel strategy group. It's free. Just go to thescienceofselling.online and join now.